Okay, Simon, we're going to have a little bit of fun here. And I think our listeners will also enjoy this because they've all seen this. And we have to give props here to HGTV's editorial team. And what this is talking about 5 real estate agent gimmicks and how to avoid them. Of course, you and I have way more than 5.
And there's a couple bonus gimmicks that we threw in. Yeah,
so I think we need to go through these and talk about them so that we can... again, advise our listeners as to when you think something is too good to be true. Well, usually it is.
There are, I think, close to 40,000 realtors right now in Southern Ontario
Crazy.
alone. So just like any other industry, some are professional, some are less than professional. And it just goes without saying that you're better off working with some rather than others. But let's dive into it. Let's see what we got.
Let's go through some of these. Yeah. So I'm sure all of you out there have seen this one. I have a buyer for your home.
Well, here's the thing. Realtors are always on the lookout for business. And right now there's a super shortage in listings in most markets in Ontario. And for that matter, in any metropolitan areas, there's a shortage of listings. So a smart realtor is going to do whatever they can to try to get leads for motivated sellers or really any sellers. And one of the ploys that some agents use, and I don't condone it, but they will tell you that they have a buyer for your home as a way to get into your house and to get an introduction. And they're hoping that they can, once they get in the door, they can schmooze you. And some agents will actually go to the expense and trouble of bringing in their cousin Mary with them to see the house. And, oh, Mary didn't like the house, but let me list your home and then we find you another buyer. So, and you got to be careful because they may actually have an actual buyer.
Exactly. Because Simon, I have to say, both you and I have knocked on doors and we have sold homes by saying we have somebody interested. They want to be on the street, and we were able to get the price and get them to agree because a lot of people, at the right price, they will sell. It's up to you then to validate that.
Absolutely. And if you have a buyer, great. When can you bring them by?
There you go.
Would be a good first question.
Excellent.
And secondly, have you pre-qualified them? Are they qualified for what price range? And, you can ask these questions. And, because again, because of the shortage of listings, we've done it. We have clients looking for homes, nothing listed for sale. Well, I'm not waiting. I'm going to look back and say, who was trying to list their home last year?
Exactly right.
So listen, if you're still interested, I have somebody looking for a specific type of home. Now, if they're not looking for a specific type of home, that might be an indication that, there's a little bit of a smoke and mirrors game going on. But let's go on to the next one.
Next one is, this property won't last long.
Motivated vendor, this probably won't last long.
Yeah.
This is, the sweetheart fixer-upper. You see all kinds of little taglines. But here's an interesting statistic that not many people are aware of. A lot of people think you can list a home at any price almost anywhere, and because of the market being so hot, it will sell. And you know what? We're not in a hurry. We'll sell. We'll wait. We'll wait to get our price. But number one, buyers are very, very qualified and very, very educated these days. They have access to more information than ever before about recent sales in the area and what the true values are.
So, Simon, the days where the market eventually will catch up to you, in other words, you can price something and then one day, if you're not in a rush, you will be able to get it one day. That's really
but it
gone.
could be 3 months. It could be 3 years.
Yeah.
But at the same time, here's a stat that most people are unaware. Almost half of all MLS listings do not sell because they're overpriced.
50%.
Yeah, well, it's actually, the real stat is somewhere around 41% or something, depending on the market. So, the premise that the market is so hot, I can get whatever I want, I'm calling the shots, we have very educated buyers.
All right, and of
Number
course,
3.
let's take it out to other marketplaces. So we're talking cottage country. That stat, of course, is even higher in terms of what actually sells. It's pretty scary. All right, how about this one? If your house doesn't sell, don't worry, I'll buy it.
You have to read the fine print, because often what they'll say is this: look, I'll list your home, and if it doesn't sell within 90 days, I'll buy it for cash. And they have to guarantee it. They have to do it already. But here's what you'll typically see with that gimmick. Number one, they'll buy it for market value minus 5% or minus 10%.
Or minus.
Or minus, and minus 5 or minus 10, and minus my commission that I
and
normally
marketing
would.
and this
so, hey,
and
I'll buy your house for 20% below market value. The line form's on the left. I'll buy as many as I can, right? But, all kidding aside, some people are nervous about buying one home and still having their others. So it's a way to take care of the fear of owning 2 homes. But if you understand the market where you are and you understand the market where you're going, then you can try to figure out and time it. And again, all the more reason to work with somebody that knows those markets.
For sure, because you know what? We've had mortgage experts on this show that have talked about the access to bridge financing to help smooth that transition. So there's lots of other options out there, Simon.
Absolutely.
All right, how about this one? This price will get you a bidding war.
Fantastic. Prove it. And by that I mean, see, here's the thing: if you're in central Toronto or other urban markets where there are bidding wars going on right now, then you can actually see the home was listed for, let's say, $499 and sold for $550 or $570, whatever those numbers are. You can see days on market. You can see what the percentage of sale price versus the list price is. And if it's a common practice in your neighborhood, it can be a very effective strategy. But I've seen people try this and they're all wrong. In other words, they're in a market that doesn't have bidding wars because the market doesn't understand it or it's not commonplace. And number two, let's say the home is worth $450 and they list it at $499 and they say, well, we're going to have a bidding war next week. Well, nobody shows up. You just hear the crickets. and then you have a seller wondering what's going on. How come everybody else is getting over asking? The asking price has to be below the value, not above the value,
absolutely.
Right? So that's a very important component.
Yeah, great clarification. Yeah. So how about this one? I'm the biggest. I'm the best.
Well, it's amazing because there's about 4,700 number one agents, and
number one in what?
It's kind of like
right?
It's kind of like children's hockey. They don't keep score. Nobody wins.
No.
Everybody gets a trophy, right?
Yeah.
At the end of the day, I want to know I'm working with somebody who is full time, who knows the market that I'm buying or selling in, and is someone that I'm comfortable talking to. When you talk to somebody and there's a natural fit, that's start one. I mean, there has to be a connection. You have to be comfortable working with the person. But at the same time, you also have to know that they know what you're talking about.
What about, Simon, also asking them in terms of how are they going to market your home?
Huge question. Very, very important because, typically what people do is if you're listing a house for sale, there's the sign on the lawn. There might be an open house on the weekend and they list it on MLS. And in terms of marketing, I mean, the days of, sending out a flyer and selling a home are over. People are online. We're seeing, and we're seeing on a regular basis, high quality, high def photography, websites that showcase a property and show all the benefits and all the features and lot size and area amenities, social media marketing and advertising, as well as, we use something called email broadcast, which is, we have, if for example, we're listing a home in East York, we know who the top agents in that area are and we'll give them advance notice of the listing. So there's a lot. I mean, the pros really pull out all the stops to market because you want to make as much noise as possible, get as many offers in as possible.
And I'm also going to add to this, you can get a lot of what I call smoke and mirrors too, where people spend a lot of money on all these wonderful looking great marketing initiatives, but you know what? They're not real salespeople. So it can actually backfire. So just as much as you'd like to have great marketing techniques, make sure when you're interviewing your realtor, more importantly, that you make sure what is it that they are going to do to help sell your home. All that stuff is important, but at the end of the day, they're the salesperson. And you want to make sure they're accountable and more importantly, that they're reachable.
Contact is important. Absolutely.
All right. How about this one? And this is something that you and I talked about. And we've seen this, and it's we buy any home, any condition, for any price.
Yeah, we see those all over town. They're typically handwritten signs or little stickers they put on traffic lights and corners and the backs of stop signs and what have you. And, unfortunately, there's a plethora of books and seminars, both online and live, that are teaching you old techniques that originated in the U.S., where they teach you to literally be a real estate parasite.
Yeah.
I hate to use the word,
no,
but
it's actually a good word, Simon.
It's really what
I agree
it is.
with you.
They're looking for opportunities where people are sending, they're desperate. They coach them on how to look for desperate situations, divorces, bank sales, all of this stuff. And
take advantage.
And try to take advantage. Yeah, they'll buy your house for cash, absolutely, for like 50% of the value. And if you leave in 3 weeks, and then they're there to pull a Gordon Gekko.
Okay,
take over the property and sell it and get the equity out.
So let's do this, Simon. Give me your top 3 tips for our listeners in terms of avoiding this nonsense, but what they should look for to get the best real estate experience.
Well, it's like any other profession. Pick somebody who's full-time, who's knowledgeable about the area that you're buying or selling, and can actually demonstrate a proven track record. And one last thing, in this day and age, agents are asking, if you're thinking about buying, they want you to sign a buyer rep agreement, which confirms that you work with them and only them. If you're listing a property, they want you to sign a listing agreement. Make sure, if you don't understand it, that your lawyer looks at it first, and that you have an escape provision. In other words, if you're not happy with the service, you can cancel. And that just gives you a little bit more control. If it doesn't work out, you can move on and hire somebody else.
Excellent.